Hi, I'm Bill Paris, an editor at Brooklyn Vegan, and you are listening to BV Interviews, which features conversations with some of our favorite artists. This week, we're talking to comedian, actor, writer, and series creator Jon Glaser, who you may know from Parks and Recreation, Girls, as a writer and performer on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, and his own shows like Delocated and Jon Glaser Loves Gear. His new comedy special is titled Jon Glaser Live at the Bell House, and it will stream live on VEEPS on July 18th. Jon and I talk about what to expect from his comedy special before diving back into his long comedy career, which includes Second City in Chicago, working on the infamous and influential Dana Carvey show, Conan O'Brien in the 90s, Delocated, Jon Glaser Loves Gear, his album Jon Glaser's Soothing Meditations for Solitary Dogs, his new Substack, sports, sandwiches, and lots more. We also discuss how Jon got to open for Slipknot and Belle and Sebastian at two different shows in the 2000s. This is a fun one, so let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Jon Glaser. I'm excited to have as my guest this week comedian, actor, writer, and TV show creator Jon Glaser. You may know him as Jeremy Jam on Parks and Recreation or Laird on Girls, but he's also created and starred in cult classic series like Delocated, Jon Glaser Loves Gear, and Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter. Jon also worked on the legendary Dana Carvey show in the 90s and has written for Late Night with Conan O'Brien and Inside Amy Schumer, and has generally had his fingers in a lot of the funniest stuff from the last 30 years. He's about to tape his first live comedy special, which will be available to stream later this summer on VEEPS. Jon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. And if I didn't say this, listeners, viewers would have no idea, but I'm sorry I was late.
Never say you're sorry, Jon.
All right. I was late.
All right. Are you the only comedian not to have a podcast of your own?
I guess so. That's like such a world that I had actually sold an idea to Spotify pre-pandemic and ended up not pursuing it for various reasons. And it's not that I don't know. I've just been so hesitant to, be like, here's another podcast. And unless it was something that I felt was really worth my time and a listener's time and not just another, two people cracking each other up session, which is fine. But it just, for me, I just feel like here's another two celebrities making each other laugh, telling versions of the same stories they've told on talk shows and podcasts. And I just didn't have any interest for that. And I am pursuing that idea that I just mentioned, trying to figure out where I can potentially do that. I'm hopefully making it sometime soon, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
So it's still a podcast, or you've like reimagined it now as a short form TikTok series or something?
I mean, whatever the semantics, it'll probably be some kind of version of a podcast and a video component. And this is one of those things that I feel like it always makes me sound and feel like a grandpa, like another one of these things. But really, even just the word podcast bums me out, and I remember when they were first getting going and I live in New York and I would go visit friends in LA and, oh my God, come do my podcast. And I just was like, I just bristle at it. And that's maybe not even a good thing for me, if you want to think like career wise and business wise, it's just, I just struggle with it, but I'll probably do one and maybe more, even that I started this Substack recently, which was another thing that I was kind of, I don't want to necessarily say late to the game doing it. I was not really, it's not something where I wanted to pour my time and energy and efforts, but now that I've started it, it's really, and especially with the way things are going in the industry, meaning showbiz, it's nice to do something where it's just, you have complete control over it. You do whatever you want, say whatever you want, and hope for the best as far as people subscribing, and especially paid subscriptions, which is a hard thing to, everyone's doing it. And it's hard to, you can only support so many of your favorite artists unless you have a ton of money. But we'll see. It takes time. And I certainly want to try, once I keep posting things on Substack and getting used to the site. And lots of people are doing basically their own DIY, low budget, lo-fi podcasts on there, which is fine. You don't need all the fancy graphics and theme songs, although it's fun to have all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure at some point in the near future, I will be doing maybe a bunch of them.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Substack, which is called Asshole in the City, right?
That's correct. I had been thinking about what to do with it, what to call it, if anything. And I'd had this idea for a book pitch, which I really liked. The notion of it is I've made a career for the most part playing assholes or asshole type characters. And it really became this thing to me about the existential pondering of like, well, why am I so good at this? Am I an asshole and I don't realize it? And so that became the question and the thesis of the book. And so to me, it was just setting out to prove that I'm not an asshole through a bunch of short stories and anecdotes and whatnot. And so that's at least how I'm very loosely approaching the Substack, where not every story is necessarily going to be that, but you can always make the argument that it's about that. And it just seemed like such a funny idea to me. So that's what I'm trying with it. And I'm sure it'll expand beyond that, but that's the basic gist, the basic premise of it. And it'll just be weekly stories or really whatever. And it may be more than a week, every post, maybe less, I'm just going to take it as it goes. But so far it's been pretty fun just to start doing it and working on it.
I don't know if all your characters that you've played are assholes, but they do all seem to have anger issues.
Yeah, maybe it's more about the anger and less about the asshole. Which came first, the anger or the asshole? The anger-filled egg that the asshole chicken laid. Yeah, they're not all assholes. They all have asshole. Certainly, I excel at it. It's something I remember when I got hired at Conan years ago. Conan and I talked about that. We both, and I think lots of people in my world have that affinity for that type of character. They're just fun to play. You get to say all these great lines. But beyond that, it really, for me, it was like, I certainly have spent like earnest time wondering, like, why am I good at this? Beyond just having a funny line to say, why do I excel at this? And it's just, because like you said, not every character I've played is an asshole. Laird was very much not an asshole. And I really loved doing that type of character as well. But yeah, the anger stuff certainly is in there as well. And that's also part of the examination of, why am I good at this? Where does this come from? If you really want to get deep, and if I really want to get deep, and maybe I will with the Substack, that's part of it. I've had a couple interesting experiences in the last few years, especially where the anger stuff really got addressed head on, where it was sort of this realization of, oh, maybe I'm angrier than I realized. And that's maybe, what's driving me through life, and having to step back and look at that. It's been a mildly interesting thing, maybe more than mild, just to examine that aspect of it earnestly, whenever you have to come to grips with who you are and what you're like. It could be a little humbling and sobering. And I for sure had a couple of moments like that maybe I'll write about, and even one of them was like meeting a guy in my neighborhood. I'm like, oh, this is the person people think I am. Like coming face to face with the asshole that I've played so well on TV, and meeting that person was really weird. And even with someone like Jam, like you start to realize those stereotypes are out there, especially now more than ever. They're all out there. We're all under their power right now. It's a really bizarre time.
Yeah.
Especially like the anger stuff, the latest Trump interview with, I can't remember the reporter's name. I mean, it was awesome. She was just grilling him and he was losing his shit. It was fucking incredible. For me, I'm like, everyone just keep doing that. Let's interview him to death. Like if that's the path to getting him out of office, just keep making him keep making him angry.
On your Substack, you've got a funny, sad piece about having to use like the North Face customer AI chatbot.
Yeah, that was, I did these live chats years ago when I was making Delocated. It was just something where I think I was just on the Time Warner cable, which I don't even think is a thing anymore. Regardless, they had a very early version of a live chat function feature.
Mm.
And so I engaged it and I just would ask these live chat assistants who at the time were human beings, like, hey, where can I find Cartoon Network? I'm trying to watch this show Delocated. What do you think of this premise? Like just asking them about the show, the premise. Would you watch that? It sounds terrible, but it's not. And just had some really, really funny interactions. And I posted those. I started a Tumblr years ago that became a Delocated thing. And then when Delocated was done, I'm like, well, now I'm kind of stuck with this Delocated premise. But I posted them all on there. And I had even pitched a book based around that. Like, I just thought that would be a really funny thing to read, all these live chats with all these live chat agents. And so I had done one in 2018 with the North Face that ended up being this really great exchange with the live chat agent named Mitch. I mean, it was so funny and so genuine interactions and you have to rely on that person to engage your questions and either go with it or not. And some of them they don't, but it's still funny. But this guy was all in. Like, do you go by Mitchell or Mitch? I'm Jonathan, but I go by John, talking about that. Like, it was really funny. And so I ended up posting that one, I think, as the first of these live chats on my Substack. When I launched the Substack, it was this past May, but I'd been working on it for a couple months, just compiling old stuff, reworking things, writing new stuff. And I went to the North Face to do a follow-up, and it was now the after hours was AI. During regular business hours, you could get a human being, but I ended up getting the AI and just engaged that and went back and forth on posting it, because by doing it, we are still contributing to the problem. We're still using AI. And so part of me felt like, and I even say that in the middle of one of those chats to the AI, like, this is going to be the last one. But it, ended up by way of timing. I wasn't even sure if I was going to put that post up sooner than I did, but there was that big story about how I think Google is becoming mostly AI driven. And it's just, I personally find it all deeply upsetting, as do a lot of people. But I still went back on the North Face with some of the human counterparts and had some really good exchanges with them, some of them, and about, what do you think about AI and taking your job? And it was some really enjoyably hilarious and not so hilarious conversations about it. And so it's weirdly very relevant, these old chats, and I'll get to the older ones as well, but God, it's such a bummer right now with all of the AI stuff. I find it more upsetting than helpful, even when it can be, and it can be very helpful. The good stuff about it is great. Immediate access to information when you think about doctors and anybody, but it's a slippery slope and I do not like it.
You go on a subway now and every single ad on there is for some AI company and you don't even know what they're doing, but it's AI.
Not only that, but just there was I was on the subway and there's some ad for Skechers, that shoe company, and it's clearly an AI model. It's the whole thing. There's no photo shoot. There's no person that they're paying. It's just AI. And it is a fucking bummer to me. It makes me it's so enraging. One of the things I think I mentioned in the North Face chat, or maybe in the text before, I was looking something up a year or two ago and it took me to some print, a poster. And then I reading, I'm like, oh, these are just made by AI. And they were $900 for a fucking robot to fart. That's how I look at it. And it just is in $900. And it was absolute garbage. There was really no oh, this is at least cool, or oh, the aesthetic and yeah, man, it's all so deeply upsetting to me.
Well, we'll try to turn this conversation around into more fun things. We're officially here to talk about your upcoming comedy special, which tapes at Brooklyn's Bell House on July 18th. I always consider you to be sort of a high concept guy, and I don't really know what you're doing. Is this a stand-up special? Something else? Can't really say.
It's a stand-up special, and it's basically, I'm not a traditional stand-up, and so if you've seen my stuff, it's not that you necessarily know what to expect, but you at least know it's not going to be straight ahead stand-up. There's going to be other people involved. Scott Adsit is doing this big
Hmm.
cameo in it, and he's an old good friend. And I've done this. It was a show that I was working on before the pandemic as something that I wanted to eventually make a live special. And Scott had done it. A few other people had done it. And, I'm not sure. I guess it's okay to talk about, like, it part of the joke is, I don't know, I'm hesitant to say too much because I'd rather
Yeah, don't.
people experience the premise as they see it, but just know that Scott is doing a fun cameo in it, but it is mostly me doing my version of stand up. And I know that's super vague, but it is a conceptual thing, and I hope people like it.
Right. And yeah, you said you and Scott go way back, like all the way back to Second City in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I actually understudied Scott. Scott to me is one of the funniest people I know. Just such an exceptionally good improviser, great actor, so funny. And I understudied him in Chicago and then got to be in a show with him. And so, yeah, I've known him a very, very long time. And it's really cool to get that he can be a part of this. And yeah, he's awesome. And I will just backtrack for 1 second and say the Substack
Mm.
is very funny, even though it's that bummer topic of AI and there's other things in there that are fueled by rage and anger and asshole people. I hope it's still very funny to read.
I think the last time that I saw you perform live was that Delocated variety show at Music Hall of Williamsburg. The thing I remember most about that was Steve Service, who played Sergey on Delocated. He was doing like some weightlifting thing, and I was not expecting that at all.
That is that's a way back show. Yeah, those Delocated live shows were extremely fun. I'm trying to remember that. I feel like also in that show, that particular one, wasn't I talking about NCAA basketball at the top? I think I went to Michigan, and I'm pretty sure Michigan was playing in the college basketball tournament. And there was a show that was ending right as my show began. And I went on stage in character as John. Hey, everybody, I know this is the show, but if anyone can check the score and shout scores out, that'd be appreciated. And then, yeah, Service, I'm trying to remember what he did in that. He was lifting weights.
Yeah.
Did we do a bit with him as Sergey? Like, was there like a confrontation? Was that the
I
one?
don't think so. I just feel like he was up there like lifting weights, and I never realized like how jacked he was, you know?
Oh my God. When Steve auditioned for the show, we realized what we were dealing with. We couldn't wait to write stuff to get his shirt off and show off that body. There was an idea for season 3 where we had Steve as Sergey, like his character's in a big depression and he's just stopped working out. And it was going to be like one of those acting exercises where he just would let himself go for the shoot. And then when he was done, get back in shape. And it was never a really serious idea, but I remember asking him and saying, Steve, like, how willing would you be to just get fat and pudgy for the shoot? And he was genuinely like, oh man, I don't know. And, especially for a basic cable show, like it's one thing if you're a movie star and you're making millions of dollars with, trainers and nutritionists that can help you do it. And Steve he was a trainer. He is also one of the smartest people I know. And he really knows his shit when it comes to working out, exercise, the human body, nutrition. It's not that he couldn't handle it or do it himself, but that's a huge ask that's decades of work on your body and saying, would you just become fat for a basic cable show? And it was never a real idea, but it was worth it just to ask him, to see him go like, ooh, I don't know. It was so funny. But yes, he's ripped and he still is.
I feel like you leaned even more into that in the Jon Glaser Loves Gear show, though it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, we had a little bit of that. Even in Neon Joe, I actually had Steve show me, like, I thought it would be so funny, like, even honestly for the Delocated series finale, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I even thought that would be great to get kind of not like big muscles, but even, to look toned, like, oh shit, for this thing, we kind of did that, or I kind of did that for Neon Joe, where it felt like, let me at least look a little bit like I could handle myself in a fight. But
Yeah.
and then with Gear, yeah, we really explored, like, well, I was going to say we explored his body, not quite literally, more figuratively, but yeah, we did a lot with that, which was pretty fun, I thought.
Your most recent sort of bigger project was the album Soothing Meditations for the Solitary Dog, where I thought was just a very nice concept, make a record for dogs to listen to while you're away. Did you get any letters from dog owners telling you that it worked or didn't work?
No, but there was a few people that would tell me or message, like, I don't think there was anything where like, oh my God, it worked. But some people said they put it on. And I think just by nature, because it does have that score of the droning kind of, and I'm trying to talk softly here and there, I guess it could work. But yeah, no one complained that it worked or didn't work or work. But we did get a few videos that I was sent on Instagram of people just recording their dog listening to it. And they're so hilariously cute. Just to see these dogs, and some of them look tired and sleepy. They're playing it at the beginning of the album before things kind of go off the rails, so to speak. But it's pretty hilarious to see those videos. I wish we had hundreds of them.
I know you're a dog lover. How many do you have?
I have one dog who's right here with me now.
Oh,
this is Gatsby, and that's Gatsby, on the album cover. And, it was loosely inspired by him. Not really. He's an anxious dog for sure, but he is just, it was such a fun thing to work on. I do genuinely love him and dogs in general quite a bit. I live near Prospect Park in Brooklyn. There's off-leash hours there every morning. We usually go do that. I've met so many people there. Like, I have this community of, I don't keep in touch with people outside of there. There's a few people that we message on Instagram and a couple of people whose numbers I have, but it's mostly just people I know at the dog park in Prospect Park. And it's just the best. We all feel the same. We all love dogs. We start every morning in this gorgeous park with all these dogs, a lot of cool people that I've met. It's really, I just love it so much. And also just that park. It's such a lifesaver for me to be in there every day, usually with my dog. And if it's after off leash, like today, I'll go when I'm done working just on a really good long walk in the woods. There's so many great trails in the interior of Prospect Park. It's stunningly beautiful. And it's such a daily lifesaver for me. But yeah, I just love this dog quite a bit. He is a very, very sweet boy.
Do you love dogs more than humans?
Sometimes. I'm very, and it's funny to go into the park and see the dogs that prefer humans over other dogs. And I do feel like a lot of people just, these are hardcore dog lovers in the park. Most of the people I meet in there, and we all really feel the same way, just so tremendously lucky to be surrounded by dogs every morning. It's just a way to set the tone for the day. Even if it immediately gets annoying, you've at least started with a full hour, if not more, of just feel good energy with all these animals. And, it kind of reminds me of when my kids were little and going to drop them off at school, and you start meeting parents, and it's like, okay, let's avoid this person. Let's avoid this parent. This person's cool. You find who you like, and there's plenty of annoying dog owners in the park, but that's just the world.
Brooklyn Vegan, as you may know, is primarily a music blog, so I thought I would ask you some music questions. And we'll start with, you were in a legendary New York band in the 2000s, and of course I'm talking about A Matter of Trust.
Oh yeah.
What are your memories of A Matter of Trust?
Super fun. Really one of the dumbest bits. For those not in the know, it was this was John Benjamin's idea, where And it was me, John Benjamin sang, James McNew from Yo La Tengo, the bass player, guitar player for Yo La Tengo. He played guitar. I played bass. I can not play bass. At the time, I had a bass guitar and I'd fuck around with it every now and then and got like passable with the most rudimentary basic stuff, but enough that I could learn that. And then Todd Barry was on drums. And the joke was that we called ourselves Matter of Trust. We only played that song. We'd leave stage, come back out for an encore, play that song again. That was it.
And for those people who don't immediately know what that song is, it's a Billy Joel song from, I believe, the Bridge album, 1986 maybe, or something.
God, is it that old? That's so weird. Wow, that's bizarre. Yeah, and I'm not a huge Billy Joel fan, all due respect to those that are. But it was so fun. We did it, I think, I'm trying to remember the first time, if it was at a Yo La Tengo Hanukkah show or one of Eugene and Bobby's shows. But the highlight, if you knew about this or not, you know, the band, the New Pornographers, are also like big comedy fans, and they had seen it, and they were opening for Belle and Sebastian.
I was at this show.
Oh my God. Well, I'm curious to hear your side. Like, so they opened and they asked us to like also play, but we went on after them. So we were sandwiched in between New Pornographers and Belle and Sebastian. And my take was some of the crowd either had seen it or heard about it, or was just, they got it. They got the joke. And then others were just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Really confused. But for us, God, that was so funny and so much fun to actually do that in a pretty big venue. Was pretty hilarious. And it's like, and that's, I mean, that makes me think of another music thing. I don't know if you were going to ask about it or not, about the Slipknots opening for Slipknot.
No, I don't know. I don't know about this at all.
Do you know what the Slipknots are?
No.
All right. So the Slipknots is a bit from when I worked on Conan. I worked on Conan years ago as a writer, and a lot of the writers performed, and me and Andy Blitz and Brian Stack, two of the other Conan writer performers, we were a group called the Slipknots. And I can't remember who thought of it, but the band Slipknot was on Conan on the show. And the idea was, Conan's like, hey, so I feel really bad about this. We had a mistake in booking. Slipknot's coming on, but we also booked a group called the Slipknots. And rather than cancel and rearrange, we're just having them both on. So here they are. And it's me. This is way better seen than explained, but just so people can get it. Like me, Brian, Andy, we're dressed in like khakis and blue Oxfords and red sweater vests. And we come running out with bags of peanuts, just going like, ba 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 ba, throwing the peanuts on the ground, and then start to pretend to slip on them. And the song is as stupid as you think. We're the Slipknots, slipping on nuts, clowning around and slipping on nuts. And I eventually pretend to slip and fall down. And that's one of the lines. Look, he fell down. I slipped on some nuts. Really aggressively stupid. Slipknot, the band, really loved it. And we ended up doing like a bunch of, pre-tape bits for Conan, but I can't remember how long it was down the road. I don't know if Slipknot reached out to us or if we reached out to them and pitched them. What if the Slipknots opened for Slipknot at one of their shows? And they said yes. And it was at the Prudential Center in New Jersey on this bill where they were the headliners, and there was two other opening bands, maybe three, and then us. And it was fucking incredible. It was awesome. Like, huge stadium show for this intense metal band. And I think some of the crowd knew about it from Conan, but some probably didn't. It was genuinely, in some ways, terrifying, because we're ready to go on stage, and their stage manager guy's like, he's like, just keep moving. People are going to probably start whipping like coins and batteries and shit. Just keep moving. Be a hard target. And so it was simultaneously nerve-wracking, because in my mind, I thought, if I like lose an eye because of the Slipknots bit, first of all, it'll be awesome, because then I'll have an eye patch for the rest of my life, and that'll be the reason why. Fucking great. But I was also like, what if I get like a battery to the throat and this is how I die? It's just, but that video is, I'm sure, on YouTube. It was so fun, super hilarious. Yeah, so I've been very lucky to do two musical bits like that where we actually got to open for bands, and it was both incredible.
I think most of the Bell and Sebastian Newport Arthurs crowd was confused.
Yeah, tell me your experience in the crowd. So you thought mostly confusion.
That's what I sensed, but I knew who you and Todd Barry and I knew basically all the members of the band. So I was like, oh boy, when
Perfect response.
yeah, what's this going to be? And then yeah, it's like it's one of those bits
Oh boy.
where
What?
it's a funny idea at first, and then you just keep going with it, and you watch like the humor level sort of go down, but then come back up. It lasted just long enough, I think, but
Yeah, that's a bit that could have worn out its welcome, and it probably ended at just the right time when it was like, okay, we get it. Enough, please. But that's kind of like, John Benjamin and I used to do so much stuff together live. And even when I do my stuff solo, it's a lot of just challenging the audience, whether they want it or not, and just pushing it like, how far are they going to go with this? And your reaction makes me laugh because I feel like a lot of people were probably just feeling the same way, like, oh boy, how long is this going to go? How much do I have to endure?
yeah.
It's very funny.
I think that venue had just been open for maybe less than a year. It used to be a gigantic movie theater, like in the basement of 1515 Broadway, the MTV building.
Yeah.
And I think that was maybe the first show I saw at that place. I can't remember what it was called then, but
I thought it was called the Nokia Theater. Like that was another thing that was
yeah,
such a
maybe.
bummer about it. Like all that stuff, going to Times Square is already a bummer at this point.
Yeah.
It's all been, the commercialization and the sanitation of it it's just awful. And
Yeah.
be in the middle of Times Square at the Nokia Theater, but man, it was so fun. That was
Yeah.
such a good time.
Venues are weirdly named now, especially those bigger ones. Like I think there's one that's called like the KFC Yum Center.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so depressing. The yum, that really puts it over the top.
Yeah.
KFC Yum.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's such a weird time. It's such a weird time where things feel so beyond parody.
Yes.
It's so strange. It's
Yeah.
so strange. God damn it. KFC Yum.
More on music. What instruments? You say you can't really play bass. What instruments can you play?
I really can't play anything, sadly, and
Okay.
when I was in 5th grade, I took violin lessons and I quit that in middle school. And I remember my violin teacher, Mr. Woodson, like not begging, but like pleading, please don't quit. I know why you're quitting because all the other kids don't think it's cool, please. And I really, I don't have any necessarily true regrets from a philosophical standpoint when I think about how my life unfolded, but I hate that I gave it up for that reason and didn't keep up with it. And even bass playing, like I bought when I was working at Conan, I had a bass in my office and I would fuck around and took a couple lessons, but I hate that I never really learned how to play. I can't pick it up right now and just fall back. It just, God damn it. That's a sore spot for me of regret.
I was told by a mutual acquaintance that you have a good drum story and a minor guitar story. Do you have any idea what this person is talking about? This person is John Lee, by the way.
A good drum story. Did he tell you what the stories were?
No, he wouldn't tell me what they were.
Oh man, a good drum story. And what was the other one?
A minor guitar story.
A good drum story, and I'm very specifically thinking of John Lee. Let me just think for a second. I guess you can always edit this together for the podcast. Oh man,
That's
I'm drawing
right.
a huge blank. Oh, it could be this. When I was probably 13, oh man, this one's gonna make me feel like shit too. If it's the one he's talking about, this is the one I'm thinking of, and it probably is. When I was either 13 or around the same time, middle school, and it's the same two guys that my violin teacher fifth grade, I think it was the Suzuki program. A lot of kids, you just did it. And then if you wanted to continue with it, you did. And I did. And so did these two boys who I was friends with. And then they were like popular kids. And I was like, this is dumb. And I'm not going to do this. And one of those guys, and they were a wealthy family. And he had like this Alex Van Halen drum kit at the time, 20 drums, over the top, shitload of drums. And I thought it'd be fun to try drums. And my mom, to her credit, for my birthday, got me a drum kit. Super basic, right? Probably like snare, bass, maybe one more drum, hi-hat, and a cymbal. And for me, I'm like, this is not the big drum kit. And I just didn't think it was. I'm like, this isn't as good as these other ones. And in my mind, that's what in my mind. And I just said to my mom, like, I don't think I want it. And she was stunned. Like, my mom bought me drums, something most parents are probably like,
Yes.
no fucking way. That's gonna, and we don't have a garage. We were at the time living in an apartment complex, so this would have had to be in the basement and soundproofing. And my mom did this. And I told her I didn't want it. God, that one's hard when I talk about it, because I can just, to this day, picture my mom, the disappointment on her face, like the money she must have saved. Oh, God damn it. And she took it back. God, I fucking hate myself for that one. I'm going to call my mom as soon as we finish this. God, I cannot. Oh man, especially as I got older and my musical taste, got better, and realizing you don't need all that bullshit. Nothing against Alex Van Halen. I love Van Halen, but you don't need 10 drums.
Right.
You can do plenty with 2. And it just, oh man. Oh, I can't think of the minor guitar story either, but now I don't want to. Like, what if it's another
fair
one
enough.
make me sad? Oh man. That's the drum story.
Did you ever get to see Fred Armisen's like complicated drummer character who had like the Neil Peart drum set that goes like all around him? He did an instructional video for complicated drumming in the late 90s, I think.
I remember that special he did, like some kind of comedy special that was like, wasn't it just 4 drummers?
Yeah. Well, he's doing that now.
Or
but
those different things.
This was a character who was an Alex Van Halen or Neil Peart type, just gonzo crazy drummer, and it was a how-to VHS for complicated drumming, and he was a full character.
Yeah, I saw snippets of the special, which I didn't love, because for me it was just, as much as it's such a great idea, at some point, at least for me, I'm like, okay, I can't watch this anymore. And I'm, that's certainly not a criticism. It was such a great idea, and Fred is, I think, a brilliantly funny guy. But I didn't see this one. It sounds incredibly funny. Yeah, God damn it. Oh, it just kills me. Oh, man. Just, she was so shocked that I said no. What? You don't want it? Oh, man. God damn it. Well, it's okay you asked. Now I'll walk this one off with my dog in the woods later.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Sorry. My mom watches this. We've talked about this at length. I think she's like, move on. I have.
What kind of music did you listen to as a teenager?
All sorts. At the time I loved Van Halen. That was at least in middle school, like when I said no to the drum kit. I remember in high school, like in 10th grade, discovering U2. I was like, oh, and then kind of getting into like, oh, I like new wave and punk, and really, really gravitating towards that type of music, the people that like that kind of music, going from middle school, and again, like with the violin, like trying to be friends with certain people, and then getting older and realizing like, I don't like these people. What am I doing? And trying out for a play, and like, oh, here's my people, and I like this kind of music. And it's, but even things like, my dad, he grew up in Detroit, and he was a huge Motown, doo-wop, and he turned me on to lots of, like, I love Motown because of my dad. And even a couple like doo-wop and like Count Basie and Hendrick, Lambert, and Ross, and if I said their names correctly. And then my stepdad, learned a lot of, or a little bit of jazz from him and folk music. Not that I really listen to a lot of folk music, but even bands like The Band. And that, I don't know if it's what is their album that's just called The Band? It's that brown cover with just that horizontal photo of them. Like, I mean, that's just an incredible album. I love that album so much. So kind of but even the Doobie Brothers, like my dad loved the Doobie Brothers and I just got way into them. When I was 11, he took me to see them at this outdoor venue in Michigan called Pine Knob. Really awesome outdoor venue. It was me, my cousin, and my dad and his friend. We were 11. But I also saw, my first concert ever was the Jackson 5.
Whoa.
In third grade, I saw the Jackson 5, and I vividly remember like little tiny Michael Jackson, little tiny Janet Jackson came out. And I remember going to school the next day, and at show and tell, I lied and said that I got a tour shirt in addition to going to the show. And everyone's like, oh my God, bring it in. And I remember my cover was, oh, well, it's so nice. I'm not allowed to bring it to school. But I did see them. I just lied about the shirt. But I did get a tour shirt for the Doobie Brothers, which was at the time, this is like late 70s. This was 1979. That's how old I am. I was 11. You do the math. So I got, at the time, there was like these 3/4 sleeve, like baseball style shirts were like all the rage for tour shirts. Usually it'd have some kind of like logo of the band on the front, and then on the back would be like a list of tour dates, all the cities, and then some kind of like apostrophe 79 in big block lettering for 1979. Usually it was some kind of like maybe something from the album or a pretty basic drawing or print. The and it was usually like black sleeves and a white shirt front.
Yep.
The Doobie Brothers, much more elegant. It was like heather gray body, maroon sleeves. The image on the front was like wild horses running across the plains. And it said the Doobie Brothers in really elegant cursive. And I had that shirt. I don't think I'm making this up, but I might be because I can't find it. I'm fairly certain that there's a photo of me. I went to a Jewish sleepaway camp and I wore that, that was a shirt I got in the summer and then wore it at camp. And I have this memory of a brochure for this camp. And I'm on the cover of this brochure wearing this Doobie Brothers t-shirt, leaning up against a tree, smiling. And that just, I can't find it. I've ever, for years when I've gone home, I've looked in the basement, I've written the camp and like, do you have any record of this? Do you have any photos in your archives? So maybe I made it up, but I don't think so. I very, very much remember seeing this, and that just kills me. That's how this Jewish summer camp is promoting themselves. A kid in a Doobie Brothers t-shirt. We're cool. It was so funny. God, I wish I had that shirt. I was about to say, God, I wish a lot of things.
What about Bob Seger? He was a Michigan guy, wasn't he?
Dude, I was just wearing my Bob Seger t-shirt at Off Leash this morning. I never got heavily into Bob Seger. I know a few of the deeper cut songs. I don't know him extensively. I mean, there's definitely some deep cut songs. Like, you ever heard the song Evil Edna?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Look it up. It's great. But yeah, I love Bob Seger, and not just because I'm from Michigan, but I remember like growing up and seeing album covers, talk about like wild horses on the plain. I almost want to go get the shirt. It's probably I almost said the garbage, but I mean the laundry. Yeah, I love Seger. Bob Seger's great.
Do you still keep up with music at all? Do you go to concerts anymore? Or
I don't really go to concerts too often. I've definitely felt like an old person, like, I don't need to go to shows anymore. I don't feel like standing. If I do, I just stand in the back. I'm trying to think of the last, the band, the OCs?
Sure.
I mean, I love them, and I saw them. I don't know if it was pre-pandemic. I don't think so. At might have been Brooklyn Steel. That show was fantastic. But I don't go to see too many bands anymore. Not really, which is kind of lame in one hand, and then on the other, I find most of the times that I'm like, just go out, and then I go, and I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I'd be home on the couch with my dog. Just I don't. It's sort of like, I don't know if I can't tell if that's just becoming old or I've lived that life, been there, done that kind of thing, or if if I've become lame, but I'm just
Mhm.
not that into it unless it's a band I really love and want to see. I saw Bikini Kill a few years ago at that South Street Seaport venue that's outside.
Uh-huh.
That was fucking great. I mean, as I'm saying this, I'm like, clearly I've seen great shows and I should probably see more, but not regularly, unfortunately.
What about your kids? What are they into?
Musically,
Yeah.
nothing that I even know, and there were times where I would try to play stuff for them and nothing ever clicked with them. Even with my son, I don't even know if I could tell you any names of artists that they know or like. Neither of them are too crazily into music where it's always, and if it is, they have their headphones on. So I really don't. I will say that one thing that I had heard of Frank Ocean, I had never heard his music. And my daughter and I had this small period of time where we were playing a lot of, I'll probably start crying when I say this, like when we would play backgammon together. And then there was a short period of time where we would just put music on while we played. And it was always like her putting it on, her music. And it was, for me, just the best. And God, so I kind of heard a couple Frank Ocean songs through her. What's this? It's a huge hit. It's from the Orange album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm trying to sing it and I can't think. It's a gorgeous song. It's so good. Cause I've been thinking about forever. Ooh. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, what a great song. I think I gave that album a listen when we were playing backgammon. I haven't in a long time, but I have that song on one of my playlists and I just,
Mhm.
love when it comes on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, well, it's also making me sad because that phase is now done. It was probably 5 years ago. I play a lot of backgammon on an app. When she was really little and a little more snuggly, she'd like, "What are you doing?" And I would just show her. She'd help me play. I would teach her the rules. Then we'd play together. Then she'd play on her own, and I wouldn't help. And then we'd play each other. And then I got this really nice board for us for the holidays, and we would play all the time. We made a scorebook together, designed it, kept fun notes in it, and I'm sure it'll come back around. But now it's just, she's a freshman in high school and does not want to play much backgammon anymore. But
Right.
it's really getting me,
Oh.
especially, on the heels of my mom getting me this drum kit. Oh my God. Do you have kids?
I do not.
It's pretty wild. I will say that as a parent, when that stuff comes back around to you when you're a parent and the shit that you did as a kid and put your parents through, not even intentionally. And it's surreal. It's
Right.
so wild. Oh my God. Oof. It's getting me good.
I wasn't intending on putting you through the emotional ringer today, but here we are.
Here we are. It doesn't take much. Even, man, when I remember, I'm like, the drum story. Oh, the drum story. But now I want to figure out the guitar story. I wonder if it's just what I already kind of talked about, where I tried to learn to play and then didn't, and God damn it.
Hmm.
But a lot of that was in Jon Glaser Loves Gear. Go like the drum story was considered as a through line. I can't remember if it got mentioned, but that was instead the hockey episode was essentially another story with my mom.
Oh.
But a lot of truth was rooted in the stories of Jon Glaser Loves Gear, and then we deviated from it. But so much of that was grounded in real premises, including all the baseball stuff. That hat was real stuff that my freshman year baseball coach said to me. There's so much of that, which is where a lot of stuff that I like comes from when feels real and is played for drama. Oh my goodness gracious. Just I'm even like that song, that Frank Ocean song is in my head right now. And it's already a moving, emotionally beautiful song. And just to have it in this context, it's getting
Aw.
woof. Oh
Woo.
man.
Jon, you've done a lot of your stuff like here in New York. Would you ever consider doing one of those guided audio tours of New York City, like the kind you just put on your headphones and listen to? And where would some of the locations be that you'd want to include?
That's a great question, because one thing I really would love to do is I would love to do that in Prospect Park. And I've thought about that for a while now and been working on various ideas for that. It's
Oh.
always tricky because it's such a narrow niche thing within New York. But I don't know, it'd be fun to do some kind of just favorite spots, whether it's food, even just things like I'm trying to think of, one thing I actually also thought of doing was like a Delocated sort of walking tour where it's just, because we shot so much of it in my neighborhood and then also various other neighborhoods. I think that could be a really fun thing just to show fans, like, here's the dry cleaner from the scene where the lady kept saying, she die, she die. Here's the sandwich shop where we shot this. Like the Russian mob headquarters was a VA place, like a veterans hall.
Uh-huh.
And it's this really weird, cool looking spot. Like maybe I'll do that someday.
You mentioned sandwiches, and I know that you've done some comedy stuff with sandwiches. What's floating your boat in New York City right now? Maybe some classics or do you have any new sandwich places?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. There's a place out near me called Winner. Do you know Winner?
I don't.
It's really good. Their main one's in Park Slope. They've got phenomenal sandwiches. Almost everything they make is really good. They have a veggie banh mi that's quite delicious. Their monkey bread's incredible. And then they also have an outpost now in the park in the picnic house. I don't think they've got their sandwiches there, but they mostly do mornings for off-leash crowd and weekends. Lots of, coffee, pastries, egg sandwiches, very basic. But their regular lunch menu sandwiches, highly recommend. I'm trying to think of, I barely get in the city these days. I can't think. I mean, I always loved in the city. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Oh my God, it's so good.
Are you a DeFonte's fan?
I feel like I've been there once and not in years. It was so good and fun to go to. I mean, all the old places I think are always great to go to. There's Russo's, which is also, there's one in my neighborhood, which is so good. Oh, I almost had the other sandwich place. Oh, God damn it. I was going to say Authentico, but it's not that at all. And then I was going to say Aurelio's, but it's not that at all. But I like Authentico. Aurelio's should become one sandwich shop.
Yes.
Or
Someone should
Aurelio
open it.
Authentico. God damn it. Now I'm going to look this up. Sandwich shop. Bear with me. Maybe you can even hear the typing. If someone's going to listen to this as a podcast, if you can hear the typing, Sandwich Shop, NYC, Sullivan Street, or Thompson? Give me a sec.
Not like Arturo's, is it?
No. Oh, this one says Brown Bag. Never heard of that. Let me try Sullivan Street and see if that comes up. It's going to be worth it when I figure it out. Oh man. Alidoro.
What do you go there for?
Oh boy, it's been years. I'm trying to think of what I would get there. Oh God, let me look up their menu now. But Alidoro, it's phenomenal. Let me look up their menu. Alidoro. Oh, look at this beautiful picture. Bryant Park, blah, 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 blah. Soho. What did I used to get all the time? I mean, everything there was quite good. Everything. The Pinocchio. Prosciutto, soppressata, fresh mozzarella, sweet roasted peppers, olive paste. They had a tuna sandwich that was really good. Alidoro, everything's good. Highly
Okay.
recommend. I feel so much mentally lighter that I looked it up.
Yes.
It was 100% worth it.
Yes. Um, Other New York stuff. We're in a really crazy time for sports right now. We've got the NBA Finals. We've got the World Cup about to start. How are you feeling as a sports fan?
I'm from Detroit. I'm actually wearing, if this gets used, I'm wearing my Detroit Bad Boys circa late 90s back-to-back champs. As a Detroit sports fan, I don't really care if the Knicks win or not. I'd
Okay.
love to see them win just for all my friends. But at the end of the day, I don't care. But it's pretty fun to have that happening now. And it would
Mm-hmm.
be really fucking cool to be living here when they won it. I love soccer, so I'm looking forward to the World Cup. I just want to see, like, even with the Knicks Spurs, I was kind of hoping they'd win last night just because of fucking Trump. I'm like, fuck this piece of shit. What an asshole. What a fucking scumbag to even make the decision to go, knowing full well that it's going to ruin the experience for thousands of people so you can go and fall asleep. What a fucking asshole. That would have been so great if they won last night. But I will also say, for the neutral fan, I want 7 games. So I'm just enjoying, it's been a great series. I hope it goes 7. It's been fun to watch. And I just hope the World Cup has fun games. It sucks because all the political shit is already awful.
Yeah.
This Somalian referee they're not allowing in the country. Like, what the fuck, man? I'm just so sick of this shit, as are we all. And it's weird to also feel like sports, it's such a great diversion, obviously, for all the bullshit that's happening right now. And it's hard. It's hard for me. It's really hard to give a shit. I mean, I'm thankful for the diversion. I love watching sports. It's something I do with my son a lot. And it's truly a source of joy for me, especially when he was younger and we would watch so many games together and go to games together. And so it's fun. It's just weird.
Just for context, we are taping this it's June 9th, which is the day after the third NBA game. This may all be over by the time this actually posts, but yeah, we're feeling it right now.
Yeah, it was the Knicks won the first 2 games in San Antonio. Super fucking exciting. They're back for game 3. Trump decides to come. It was all that bullshit.
Well, John, I think that's about it. I have often wondered this. Have you ever gotten publicly confused with filmmaker Jonathan Glaser?
No. The only people I've been, by name certainly, but never visually or physically, I've been confused for John Benjamin, which is always funny just because we know each other and have done so much together. And every now and then I've gotten a Charlie Kaufman, but that was more when my hair was much bigger. That was pretty infrequent. But
You worked with him on the Dana Carvey show, right?
correct. Yeah, I shared an office with Charlie Kaufman and Robert Carla. The whole writing staff was incredible. So no matter
Insane.
whose office you were in, you were with someone amazing. But that was my office, was those 2 guys. And it was right before he was trying to sell Being John Malkovich at the time. And I remember him telling us about it and just feeling like, this is incredible. I hope it gets made. And then it did. And now he is who he is, rightfully so. I mean, God, what a movie. It's just, he was, and Carlock, whatever. All the writers there were amazing. So, and that was my first job out of Second City, which was mind blowing in and of itself.
John, is there anything else that we need to know?
Lots. There's lots you all need to know, but I think this probably covers it for now. Just like we talked about earlier, know when to be done. Don't go on too long. I probably already have. Maybe you'll edit it down. That's not for me to decide. But I think that's probably it's probably good for now.
All right, John, this has been a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, sorry that I was late. I'm not going to shy away from that. I want people to know I take full responsibility. I make no excuses. But again, we had this conversation as we did in part because I was late. So maybe it all worked out. Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe people are listening going, it didn't. Time will tell.
I will remind people that if you live in New York, you can go see your the taping of your special live at the Bell House on July 18th. And
Yes.
then if you can either rewatch it or watch it for the first time via VEEPS some point down the road.
Yes, if you live in New York, please come. It's going to be very fun. It'd be great to have a big full house for it. It's a fun show, really stupid. And yeah, otherwise check it out on VEEPS. It's cool that people can do that now, no matter where you live. I'm pretty sure it's going to be live streamed as well during the performance. But like you said, you can also just watch it when it's up on their site. And I think it's up for like a year. But yeah, thank you very much for having me, Bill. Much appreciated.
Thanks again to Jon Glaser for being on this week's show. Be sure to check out Jon Glaser Live at the Bell House, which streams live on VEEPS on July 18th and will be available on demand after that. While I have you, be sure to check out our other podcast, BV Weekly, where my co-workers Dave and Andrew discuss the week's hot button music news, the latest releases, and more. You can also follow Brooklyn Vegan on social media. We've also got an online shop with vinyl, merch, and more. And if you like this episode, be sure to tell your musically minded friends about it, as well as do all those other things. You know, like, subscribe, write us a review, give us 5 stars, all that kind of stuff. It really does help us reach more ears. Big thanks to our mix engineer, Nick Gray, and Michael Silverstein for the theme music. I'm Bill Paris. Thanks for listening.